South Africa has been experiencing an appreciation of about 40% of the rand against the US dollar in the last month. The appreciation could endanger its economic recovery from the pandemic, as an appreciation could have unpleasant economic consequences. So how threatening is the appreciation of the rand, and should the South African Reserve Bank lean against it?
First, let us have a look at the US dollar-rand exchange rate, which featured a long-term trend of depreciation over the last 10 years. On the other hand, the upward pressure is especially prevalent starting in 2020. The strong appreciation could become problematic as the South African economy strongly relies on exports. An appreciation of the rand could decrease the competitiveness of South African goods and services globally, which would reduce economic growth. Let's use the prominent export good of South African wine in an exemplary manner to illustrate the effect on the whole export economy. If the South African rand appreciates, the price of wine increases for foreigners. Such a good is easy to substitute, so that foreigners will switch to other countries for their imports of wine, which will decrease South African wine exports.
In such a scenario, the central bank might want to keep the exchange rate stable in order to support the international competitiveness of local producers. So why did these appreciation tendencies occur? Besides wine, South Africa especially exports mining commodities, which are generally not affected by changes in the local currency, but rather by the global demand. This is important as about 50% of the total South African exports come from the mining sector.
The effect of such a dependence is that changes in the price of these commodities, such as mining products, have a direct impact on the nominal exchange rate, because with higher demand, and thus higher prices, the demand for rand increases, leading to an appreciation pressure. We can see this in this graph, as there's a strong correlation between nominal exchange rate and the global price of metal index, representing commodity prices. This correlation becomes even more apparent if we look at the very right end of the graph, showing the data of 2020 and 2021. As the price index started to increase in early 2020, the nominal exchange rate took a very similar trajectory and went from a downwards movement to sloping upwards, which indicates an appreciation of the rand.
Increases in global prices of mining commodities are a main driver of the increase in the exchange rate caused by the current global excess demand. Other export goods like wine, however, are negatively affected by a price increase due to an appreciation, as they are easy to substitute. Is therefore the current trend actually an issue the central bank has to lean against? A first insight might be the undervaluation of the rand.
A popular way to determine the valuation of a currency is the so-called Big Mac index. It compares the prices of Big Mac burgers globally, as they are available in most parts of the world and priced quite uniformly all over the globe. The index is based on the theory that exchange rates should converge towards a level where prices of an identical good, such as a Big Mac, will even up in different countries in the long run. According to this index, the South African rand is one of the most undervalued currencies, with an undervaluation of 62% against the US dollar.
Generally, if we assume that commodity prices will increase further, they would continue to put an upward pressure on the rand. However, the rand is one of the most undervalued currencies globally, which means that there is still a lot of leeway for further appreciation. Therefore, this should not threaten the competitiveness of wine and thus also other substitutable South African exports that much. Overall, we can thus state that the South African Reserve Bank should not intervene at the moment.